When you come to a point when you want to upload some of your footage or make a preview of your footage to upload online, you need to export a self-contained movie of your sequence. And in Premiere Pro, you will do this by going into the File menu, Export, and you're going to select Media. And when you do that, you'll get a screen called Export Settings. Sometimes these export settings are preset correctly, many times they're not. I want to go through a few of those here. First of all, I'm going to click I'm going to unclick Match Sequence Settings because remember, we imported and shot in AVCHD, and here our format that we're going to export is, we're specifically going to choose H.264. In my machine, I have a preset for a lot of different output. One of them is called YouTube Widescreen HD. So if I were uploading to YouTube, I would start out with this setting, although I've noticed that I have to customize a bit. Now, if you're using Vimeo, you can see there's also a preset for Vimeo. But for both of these, they're not entirely perfect, not on my machine anyways. By the way, the sequence name defaults to whatever sequence name I was editing using. I do want to export video, audio. And you can see here, for the YouTube Widescreen HD preset, it actually downsamples. I had a 1080p format, but this downsamples to what we refer to as 720p. Notice here too, my frame rate was 30 frames per second, and in this case, it's going to turn it into a 24 frames per second if I let it. I don't want to do this. I want to make sure that I keep it the same frame rate that I shot it at. That'll mean there'll be less transcoding time, and it will match it. You could do it if you wanted to, but you're going to cost yourself in terms of rendering time. So the place that I'm going to change that is over here in the video settings. I'm going to click on this video tab, and under the video tab here, you can see it says NTSC, which is fine, and you can see here it's 1280 720. That's fine. I don't need the full 1080p image up on YouTube. And here I'm going to change the frame rate so that I can match my frame rate. I'm going to choose 30 frames per second. That's if you look at the link to YouTube, they recommend that you upload to the frame rate in which you shot. And then everything else is pretty much fine. There are some target bit rates and maximum bit rates. I'm not going to adjust those. I'm going to keep them the way they are. So notice here this has changed. Now it's 1280, 720, 30 frames per second. It's P or progressive. And notice here it is 48 kilohertz stereo, or 48,000 hertz stereo. Remember, we recorded in 48K audio, not 44.1. Sometimes it'll default to that. You can see there's some different settings here. And we shot in AAC, so it's going to encode. By the way, here I can turn this to 48 kilohertz. There, I fixed it. Now it's the output is going to be 48 kilohertz. So my input, my source, my output matches my source as closely as I can. Actually, I can change those frame per seconds so that I'm literally exactly the same. Back into video. There it is, to 2997. Now I have exactly the same as my source, at least in terms of frame rate, in terms of audio frequency, and in terms of AAC and so on. And this is good. It is downsampling it, so there's a little bit of rendering that we're going to have to do. So let's see. I've got something. This looks like it's 1 minute and 2 seconds. If I hit export, it's going to crunch away at this. And you can see the estimated time for crunching away at this 1 minute and 2 second clip is 2 minutes. It's averaging around 2 minutes and 45 seconds.